Okay, so hello everyone. This is part 27 of our JavaScript playlist. Here we are learning functions in detail, 0 to advanced. Okay, so let's start with introduction to function. So what is the meaning of function? Function are reusable blocks of code that perform a specific task. Okay, they help make code modular, easier to read and maintain. Okay, it means after creating the function, we can reuse our code again and again. We don't need to rewrite the code. Okay, let me give you one example so that you can relate what I'm trying to say. Okay, for example, okay, I'm creating this particular robot. Okay, suppose this is our robot. Okay, this is our robot. Till now, the robot has no functionality. So what we will do, we will add functionality. So adding functionality means creating a function inside the robot. So we will create a function. So my function name, suppose my function name is T. Okay, so my function name is T. So now this robo have the functionality to prepare tea because I added a function inside the robo to prepare tea. Okay, so can this robo prepare tea for us? It has the functionality, but it will not able to prepare tea for us. Why? Because there is no button to call this functionality. There must be a button to call this functionality. For example, here is a T button. Okay, so when someone presses this button, this T functionality will activate and it will prepare tea for us. Okay, so pressing the button is nothing but is known as calling the function, and function is nothing but has the functionality or has the ability to do work. But how we will call this functionality? By pressing the button. Okay, so we create the function and we call the function. Without calling the function, there is no use of function. If we will not call this function, so there is no use. Okay, so we created a function. If we want to prepare T one time, so we will press this button one time. If you want to prepare T again, so again you will press this button. So it will prepare T again for you. Okay, so inside the T function, there is some code, okay, like some line of code, but we are not writing that code again and again for the robo. What we have done, we have written a function which is called T, and T function we have given implemented inside the robo. So what we are doing, by pressing the button we are calling the robo functionality, which is to prepare T. Okay, so that's why we create functions, so we don't need to write the code again and again. Okay, like that. So if you want to add more function inside this robo, so you can create a function called walk. Okay, inside the robo. So this walk function is also have some functionality. Okay, and you will call this walk function by pressing the button. Okay, so when you call this function, this functionality will involve. Okay, so this is a tiny example of functions, like how function exactly work. Let me show you with code so that you can relate more. Okay, so let me go to the VS code. Here is my VS code. What I did, basically I open new folder. I created a new folder with name code and I open this folder here. And inside this, I'll create two files. One is index.html and the second file is app.js. Okay, so what I will do, I will write some basic template of HTML by pressing this exclamation sign. Okay, so my template came. Okay, so let me write here F1 means this is the lecture of function one, right? So what I will do, okay, so this file app.js, this file will contain JavaScript code and this HTML file is containing HTML code. But our HTML file don't know about this app.js because this is the external file. So what we will do, we will write a script tag and we will link this app.js file through SRC. So what will happen when we link this file, then our HTML page index.html will be able to recognize app.js file. Okay, because why we are linking this? Because app.js is external file. Okay, so let me write some console message in order to check whether it's working or not. So I will write console.log and I will say hello world, something like that. Okay, so what I will do, I will run this code through the live server. Okay, if you don't have live server, you can download the extension of live server. So open with live server. Okay, so this is opening, but here it is opening in Brave browser, but I will not prefer to use Brave browser. Instead, I will use Chrome browser. For JavaScript, this is recommended to use Chrome browser. Okay, so I will use Chrome browser. And see, F1 is coming here as a title. And how you will see the JavaScript output? So you will see JavaScript output on console window. So in order to open console window, you have to press Control Shift plus J. Control Shift plus J. When you press Control Shift plus J and refresh, then you will see the output. So our output is coming. If you want to separate this window, so you will click on these three dots and you can click here, dockside unlock, like that. Okay, so you will see all the output here. So our app.js is successfully linked. Okay, so how we can create the function here? So in order to create the function, we will write function keyword. Okay, after that we have to write function name. Okay, for example, function name is t. Make sure your function should start. Make sure your function should start from small letter. Okay, small case, right? And we write parenthesis and we write curly braces. Okay, and this is known as body of the function. Okay, so if you will start writing after a double like double forward slash, this is known as comment. This is comment. Okay, means interpreter will not read this line. So let me remove this. So I will write here console message preparing tea. Okay, like this. Okay, so what will be the output of this code? What will be the output of this script? There is no output. There is no output. Why output is not there? Why output is not there? See, we have the functionality. We have the T functionality. Are we calling that functionality? No, we are not calling that functionality. If you will not call this function, if you will not call the T function, means this function will not execute. Okay, so we can say this is not executable statement. Okay, so what you will do, you will call this function like this. Okay, so calling T function. Right. So this is how we can call T function. Okay. So what it will print? Preparing tea. Okay. So if you want to again prepare a tea, then call this again like this. So again and again you can call. Right. If you want, like I want to say, okay, let me write, let me comment it, and let me write. This is what code one. I'll show you more examples. So that's why I'm writing like this. Okay. And this is code two. So now you know how we can create the function. In order to create the function, we need to write function keyword. Okay, function keyword. Then we will write function name. Okay, then we will create the function body, and here we will write console.log like this. Okay, and then what we will do? We call the function. Okay, calling the T function. But suppose I want to say prepare two cup of tea. So how I will say? I will send value from here. When I'm calling this function, at the time of calling, I will send like how many cup of tea I want. So if I'm sending, so there must be some receiver. Okay, see inside the parenthesis there should be a receiver, but there is no receiver, so we have to create one receiver. So what is the receiver name? Cup. So we are sending two, and two will received by the cup. Means we want two cup tea. So we can say uh, we can say like preparing tea, and we will say in last. Okay, what we will say? We will write cup. So what will happen? It will say preparing tea two, and let me write cup also. So we will write here cup like this. Okay, so preparing tea two cup, right? So this is what this is. We can say this is the way of es ES5. This is the way of ES5. Writing like this. This is the way of ES5. ES5 is not nothing but ECMAScript 5, which is the older version of JavaScript. But if you will follow the new version of JavaScript, so in the new version of JavaScript, which is known as ES6, we write something like this console.log, and you will see one key like just above the tab key, which is tilde symbol. Okay, or we can say backtick. So by the using backtick, you can write the string like this. T preparing. Okay, and if you want to write variable, if you want to print the cup data, variable data, so what you will do, you will use this dollar symbol. Okay, and inside this you will write cup. Okay, and if you want to write any string, you can simply write like this, and this is known as ES6. ES6 means new JavaScript. Okay, so broadly we divided JavaScript into two flavor. First is ES5 and second one ES6. So all the new features comes, so it comes under the ES6 means new version, and ES5 is the older version of JavaScript, right? So how it will print? Okay, what it is saying, console.log preparing. Okay, so the mistake is we are writing cap, but we have to write cup here, CUP, and we did mistake here as well. Okay, so we have to write correct spelling. Okay, like that we can call. Okay, so this is known as function with argument, right? This is known as function with argument. So we have seen two examples of the function. We have created function T, and inside the function we have write one message and we call the function twice. In the second example, we are passing like how many cups tea you want. So we are passing like number which is 2. So 2 received by this cup, and we are printing the message along with like data, right? So that's it for this video, and in the next video we will discuss more about the function. All right, thank you everyone.